question here. I think this is one that many of you will probably connect to. So it says, my past is holding me back from being successful. What steps can I take to shift my mindset? So this person is saying their past is holding them back from being successful, and they're looking for strategies to help them shift their mindset. So I think that's one, it's really important that you're recognizing that your past is getting in the way. And definitely as a mindfulness strategies, we really talk about, how are you present focused? How are you really not allowing the past or worries about the past or worries about the future to dictate how you're living in the moment? And so I think one of the ways is to explore ways that you might be able to release whatever hold your past have on you. So if it is going to therapy, if it's journaling, if it's reflecting on that past, and I mentioned before, writing a letter to yourself, writing a letter to your past self, forgiving yourself for things that happened. Sometimes we use our knowledge of today to judge what we've done in the past, and that's quite unfair, right? Because when we're in the past, we only have that much information. We only know what we know in the moment. When we look back, of course, there's more information that we have. And so I've always encouraged clients to be kind to self when they do that reflection, when they do that rear view mirror reflection, because you don't know as much then as you do now. So again, thinking about ways that you might use therapy, journaling to help you unpack that past emotion. Some other mindsets. So again, that self-compassion I think is a really powerful mindset. How are you kind to yourself so that you are not punishing yourself for mistakes that you do? How are you providing affirmations for self? So again, we are in a world where there's a lot of high demands. You may be working in a workplace that's very challenging, or the productivity is really needed. You might be one person of color in your office, and that can feel very demanding, as though there's a lot of pressure on yourself. And so again, I love surrounding myself with positive words, positive quotes, positive affirmations that remind me of all the wonderful things that I've done, or the wonderful things that have been done in my community. It helps me build confidence. And it helps me to, again, just connect to a wider community beyond myself. And I think that's also really helpful. Is like, I am not in this alone. I have other people who I can connect to, who are there rooting for me. So it's a great reminder of that. How do I handle being gaslighted? I think that's very similar to a question around, being in a toxic relationship. And so if you're in someone who's gaslighting you, which is someone who is blaming you for things that they're doing, or attributing, their wrongdoing to you, or trying to turn the blame on you when you've challenged them or confronted them about something that they're doing. And so how do you do that? So again, I define that, I put that in the toxic relationship basket. And if they are not willing to change, if you call them on their behavior and they're not willing to change or address what they're doing, then I would definitely consider, how do you set boundaries around that relationship? How do you make sure that you find a space where you are affirmed and your voice is affirmed, so that you don't get pulled into that person's sphere, that you remember who you are and the positive qualities that you have, and you don't get pulled into that person's narrative of you. I think that's really important. So who is in your social circle? Again, you may be in a relationship, a long-term relationship with this person where you feel you don't have much of a choice. So there may be limitations to what you can do in terms of leaving, but how do you set boundaries? If it is an intimate relationship, how do you talk about, maybe we go to couples therapy. So I think one of the things is to name it. I always encourage people to name things that you're seeing that are not healthy or they're not well. And so when you name it for yourself and you name it for the other person, it's out there in the open. And so you are more aware of it. And so when it happens more often, you can see it, you see the patterns, and that may give you a lot of information and help you to help decide how you might want to handle that situation. So I hope that these questions, my responses have been helpful. Again, these are for information only, and I encourage you, if you want more information, check out our Therapists of Color directory. We have therapists on there, we have coaches on there who can help you navigate through some of these really challenging situations. But thank you for tuning in, and we look forward to more questions for you next time. Thank you.